and, before you still have nothing, when you put more in, and it's worth every day. Keaton and Joe.
Hello.
Six.
Pretzel or something, I don't know.
Something, or I don't know what it is.
Mm-hmm, I heard a sinus infection.
That's what I thought it was too. I think
Her,
I don't know what they go by.
sore throat.
She's
for golf prop or potatoes.
No, I actually haven't.
No.
I just brushed my teeth, whatever it's gonna do that.
Truck swore by the, they operated on the road 3 times, and then he quit taking them. Yeah,
Oh.
he ate that like candy.
I do it. Yeah.
So cancer 3
There were
times.
3,
They saved it on that.
the other 2,
Swear to God, yeah. The fisherman
on
ran
this list.
so hard.
Everybody's
Yeah.
making
I'll
progress.
tell you what, they will open your nose up.
But again,
Get rid of it.
these go down to 45. He's close.
See, don't bear hurt himself.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I'm like, he's taking lessons from Gimpy.
What do you do?
Shouldn't even tell you. Apparently, he can't shoot a gun before. Somehow,
I think we're
he
here.
ended up discharging his gun when he wasn't ready to shoot, and ended up scope right here. And the sad part is, he uses his right eye, and he ended up splitting his eye over his left side. Don't know how he did it. It goes, sounds to me like we need to take you guys away from you.
Have you tripped or something, or?
He said he was sitting right in the camera. Then you realize you had his finger on the trigger.
Taking lessons from dad. Taking lessons from dad.
That's not good.
We'd like to open the meeting, okay, with a motion and a second. Joe makes the motion, Cindy seconds it, all those in favor, aye. Please stand, allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, the next item is approval of the minutes of the previous board meeting, which was on February 24th of this year. Any questions, concerns, corrections?
Just under the APA presentation, it was both Ernie and I, this is the presentation, just not myself.
There's no creek.
The APA, I'm on page number 3. The 1, 2, 3, 4th paragraph down. These are the key inventory. Because Ernie did a
Thank you.
good job today.
Thank you. Well, you did too.
Thank you. Team effort.
All right, if there's no other corrections,
Oh, under page 5, you see it begins with no. You go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th paragraph down, should be pavement, not payment.
that's correct.
That's what they hear. And then the paragraph where it says begins with Cory, towards the bottom of the page, the second from up, would be the town historian, not the historical society. And also, on page 5 at the top, the second paragraph down, that resolution we posted to the town office, not the town hall, because the town hall is over the joint room that's shared by the fire department and the town hall.
Thank you, Corey. A motion and a second. Cindy makes the motion, Jim seconds it, all those in favor? Aye. That's passed. I'll defer, okay, to our county legislator, Justice Martin, okay? He's a surprise visitor and he has some information he'd like to share with us. Okay?
Thank you, Supervisor. It's good to be here again. Had some, the town address books that I wanted to leave with the supervisor, and you can share them with the board members or whoever you want to share them with. I did want the town to know that we're working on a tire recycling day. It's a grant that we get through Soil and Water that basically, if you live in Franklin County, you can bring tires to. We're still working on all the details. They're depending on the amount of tires, there might be a limit how many you can bring, because we're trying to, we'll probably set the trailer at the Dickinson Town Garage so that Moira and Waverly can contribute. But basically, if you're a resident of Franklin County, you have some tires laying around, bring them, and that's paid by a grant, so it's no cost to the residents of Franklin County. And we're last year we did it in Chattagay and the town of Franklin, and so I requested that we could do one in this end somewhere, and it's working out. So I'm
Is there a limit to the size tire?
There is, and I don't have that. I don't have that on the top of my head, but there is. That information will.
The highway department.
We'll probably need that information, Justice.
Yeah, I'm not a tire expert, but I know there is, and that'll be in the advertisement, because there'll be advertisements about it now. So anyway, it's a good thing. It's tires laying around is not good for anybody, and especially the environment. So, and to take them to the dump is expensive. I mean, it can be. So, yeah. Other than that, I mean, we're trying to get some more progress with dealing with some of the properties that are tied up in back taxes, and nobody's on them. So we hired an agency to help us to be able to catch up with more foreclosure process, instead of the county just trying to do a year at a time. We're trying to do 2 years at a time. So hopefully we can get on top of some of these properties that have just been sitting, and so that is one of the things. Obviously, there's a lot of talk about the impact of tariffs, and obviously what the CEOs have been going through, but I'm sure you are all aware of all of that. And our land bank is actually becoming more active. In Saranac Lake, there was a property that the town took over through, I believe it was Article 19, and then the land bank was able to take it. I don't know if you saw any articles about that, but it's another way of remediating some of these properties that instead of just putting them through a tax sale and then somebody buys them and just sits on them. So there's different options out there that we're working on to try to hopefully make our communities a better place. But
Now, with the land bank?
Yeah.
Would it be considered a non-for-profit, or do people actually own it?
no, it's a non-for-profit.
So would there be no taxes on the house if it was assumed by the land bank?
Correct.
Okay.
But the land bank has access to grants and funds, like we got a property in Malone and a property in Senate, Tupper Lake, that we're actually, the one in Tupper Lake, we actually got grant money to tear the house down, put a new house there. The one in Malone, we got money to remodel it. So it's another way, it's a creative way to take some of these properties and turn them into something that can be back on the tax rolls and generating tax funds for the town.
So wait, okay. So afterwards, they would go back on the tax.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
The land bank.
No, okay.
And
I
like,
know,
I don't know how you.
Land bank, it sounds like just a bunch of property.
Right,
So-
okay, so they're not.
So no, that for a time, but the goal is, this land bank, we decided that we're not going to become owners of properties and rent them out. We're not going to become landlords. We'll own them for a time and get them to where they're saleable, so we can put them for sale and have them back on the tax rolls. That's the goal.
Where does money go back when you sell it?
So then that money would go back into the land bank coffers to purchase or acquire, fix up new properties. So it's a good, it's just another alternative. Dealing with some of the ones that we So yeah, good job, Bernie. I try to be in touch once in a while, and it's amazing what all these little towns deal with. And you got a good supervisor here.
I wonder some days. Thank you, Justice.
Sure.
Okay, for visiting us and updating us on what's going on. Back to the supervisor's report then. Monthly bills and financials. You have that for your to look over. And you can take any questions in there. Okay. All right, if there's no questions, we'll move on. And the next item is concession payments, all right? And the first thing is when we look back, okay, at the people, there were 3 individuals on the 23-24. We had 3 individuals who were kind of way behind, and now it's just down to 1. All right, and that individual is making progress, and the numbers are going to get smaller. So we're making progress. We're down to 1 party that has 2 different lots. Okay, it's behind in 23-24, and they're catching up. And then you can see you have a list of the 24-25, and they're everyone there is pretty much making progress. And it's by June, okay, it's going to be down to maybe 1 or 2 names. And I guess the whole process starts again July 1st. So,
Ernie, on 65 and 66, are we making any progress on them?
absolutely nothing, okay?
Yeah.
There's a legal battle going on, okay? And it's kind of like in a stalemate right now. So that's why those numbers are there.
Mhm.
But it was the bill for, it's sent out in April, okay? And then their suit we received in July, okay, of 2024. And it's It's ongoing, as far as I know. It has not come to any resolution at this point.
And speaking from past experience with those two lots in particular, it's been a continuous history of that performance of not paying on time from day one.
Any other questions on the concessions? All I can say is a continuous battle, okay, and we're making progress. Okay, so the next item is, you never know when you're gonna get an email that kind of rocks you, okay? And I got this on March 7th of this year. This is ARPA funding, COVID funding. This is American Rescue Plan Act, all right? And this was COVID funding, and I think probably somewhere in 2021, the town received, okay, over $100,000 from the federal government to spend on COVID, all right? So then I'm told on March 7th, okay, I've got to sign up for this online course. I got to get into a portal, and the town owes, they want to know, the feds want to know, how we spent $100,717.64, okay? And, okay, I'm battling to get into the portal, all right? And the Association of Towns has offered some advice, all right? And I can't find a phone number, okay? I'm struggling with their instructions, all right? And I can't get into the portal. And I'm not gonna be able to do anything until I can get into that portal and see what they want, and then do the research on how I spent the money. And there's this April 30th deadline. So I was really at a dead end, all right? And then I got a phone call from an individual named Peggy Musa, okay, who has the ability, all right, to get into the portal. Well, she saw a master list from the Treasury Department of towns that were behind and needed to report. So she called me up and said she represents other towns and that she would represent Waverly, okay, one, to get us into the portal, and then we'll do the research and give them the information they want to know. So Peggy Musa, okay, is starting to help us, but she's looking at a $300 fee for her help, which I have not signed a contract at this point in time. But given the difficulty that I'm having right now, all right, probably her assistance would be economical at $300 compared to paying back over $100,000.
And who is she?
She's an accountant that's worked, okay, for the town of North Elba. So she's got a business reputation.
And how much does she want, Renee?
$300. I have not signed the contract, okay? But I'm just saying that this is a potential solution, okay, to our problems.
Do we have any idea when the money was spent?
Not at this time. I want to look into the portal,
Yeah.
all right, and that's gonna give me keys, what they want and what they're looking for. And maybe there was parameters, all right, and how that money could be spent. And if I know, that would be helpful doing the research. The more that I can get on that portal will be helpful. So that's where we stand on that.
Is she gonna outline exactly what she'll do for that $300?
Yes, she will. Okay.
I think it would be money well spent. Just your time that if you've already spent.
Right.
Especially with the deadline being August,
Right.
April.
Yeah.
April 30th,
Yeah.
which is not far away.
No, it isn't.
And we're not even in the portal yet.
And if she knows the research and what to look for, it's gonna save you
A ton of time.
a ton of time, and you don't wanna be late on it, because then they start.
And I'm also gonna find out from her. In an email today, she said she's already helping 3 towns and got into the portals. So I'm gonna ask her, who else is she trying to help? And that's like a character reference.
Right.
The other thing is, can we look back at old minutes and see if anything's in there for large expenditures to see, you know, how some of it went there? Or it went then? Maybe.
Maybe.
I think you'll find it in the minutes.
No, I don't remember anything.
Me
This
either.
money being spent.
What
I don't
happened,
even remember.
All right, Corey,
getting that kind
Corey
of money.
got the electric.
what happened is the town of Tupper Lake is the one that submitted the application and put in the wrong code. And it was our code that was actually put into the system. That's why we received $100,000. We were never supposed to receive it, actually.
Did we
But
actually receive it though? I thought
We did.
we didn't file it at the end and never got
No, we did. That's a
Okay.
whole different thing, that other that you're talking about.
it. Okay.
Yes, we did receive this. Chad was supposed to utilize it for whether it be highway department personnel, other purposes like that during
I remember
COVID.
getting it, but I don't remember ever hearing anything.
So was
about
part of the
it.
money spent on salaries for the highway department? Or-
I honestly don't
Yes.
recall exactly the full,
It was.
the
They
breakdown.
were off for what, were you working then, Jim? No, they were off for a number of,
Right, you retired in January and then COVID struck,
Yeah,
okay,
I
by
got-
March. I think the
we
March
kept it
is
done.
full bore with us in 2020.
And Chad did have a folder with the portal information and all that. I don't know where he placed that, but
Well, that's important to know that that folder exists, okay? Because that would be key. So maybe that would be in the 2021, 2022 files, maybe,
didn't see.
something like that. Well, thank you for all this information. Thanks, the investigation will continue. Snowmobile operations on highways. I kind of made an individual decision that maybe it would be important that the people who are very familiar with, okay, snowmobiles and represent their various counties. So Jim Purcell, okay, kind of gave me a lead on certain individuals that I could contact. And so I contacted Debbie Christie of the St. Lawrence County Trail Association, of which she is the coordinator. And then Chris Barge, who represents, okay, the Franklin County Snowmobile Association. So these 2 individuals met with Roger and myself, okay, on Tuesday, March 18th, okay, in our offices here at 11 o'clock in the morning. And we looked at what could be done, all right, and had a very positive discussion. And we kind of ended it in the sense that things could be done on the Blue Mountain Road. And so Roger offered, okay, that let's go out. Roger was willing to go out on that Tuesday and look at the Blue Mountain Road and where accommodations could be made, where the trail would be, the snowmobile trail could be off to one side, not on both sides of the road, but maybe on one. So they accepted that offer, and there'll be a future meeting, okay, to kind of map out what could be done. We also discussed that we don't really see anything going on on the South River Road because the road is just too narrow to try to do anything. Debbie Christie is a real ball of fire. And she is willing to continue to do research, all right, even though it's Franklin County, about looking for potential areas where the snowmobilers would get off the road, but on trails, looking at old trails, talking to property owners. So she's willing to do exploration on that. She's gonna continue to work on it. She also mentioned that she would contact David Rhodes to see what kind of information he would have about the trail system. So this is what has happened, okay, since our last board meeting. Any questions?
Is there something that maybe we wanna, on the trail maps, or make some kind of notation that the South River Road isn't conducive to the snowmobiles, because it was put on there.
It is conducive. The problem in lies, nobody wants to run the banks anymore. Okay, they all want groomed trails. Debbie Christie was the first one to step up and say that she wants a groomed trail, not running snowbanks. Therein lies the problem. They run these roads forever on the snowbanks. There will be no groomed trails on the South River Road,
No.
just not room enough. Or Duane Street, or Main Street, or the Dexter Road. And this goes back to another issue where we designated an ATV snowsled trail with signs and deterred them from going on other roads as well. You have a resolution that states every road in the town of Waverly, and they're all listed from destination to destination, point A to point B, are all open to ATVs. And now you put signs up that restricted them from going on roads without changing your resolution. Something the board needs to look into.
They listed the roads on there though.
You've got no ATVs on Spring Street, 2 signs up.
Spring Street.
Spring Street is on that list.
No, is that not that list that, 2004, 5 law?
Every road in Waverly.
No, that wasn't on there, Roger. I'm sure there's, you have? I don't have it on my
I didn't bring it one time.
No. Spring Street.
I think it wasn't in 2001 that they passed.
A lot of the town roads weren't, but a lot of the outside roads, they were all on it. Cook Road.
Roger's right. There's a town law that said where they could go, and they could go everywhere.
Everywhere. High Street,
Yeah.
But there was
St. Anne
another
Street.
one though, that limited the roads. I have a copy of it on the website.
That's
He
what I
gave
saw.
us-
The one that
It said where ATVs were and where snowmobiles were. It was a 1-page document that split the roads out, and I can find it again. But
Yeah, it was actually published in the Malone Telegram many years ago.
Yes.
That's the one we're talking about. That made every town in Waverly wide open. Reading that. Right, Roger? It was virtually
I'm just,
everyone.
like I said, the board needs to look into this. If you're gonna designate a trail, you need to make sure that the rest of the roads are either open or closed.
Yeah, we gotta pass a
You
new
need to
law.
address this.
We gotta study that old law
Mhm.
and then make changes to it.
If you're gonna designate a trail. We talked about it when you decided to order the signs and put them up, and nobody's done nothing, and that was a year ago.
Any other questions or concerns?
We'll take a look at those laws and then figure out what we gotta do with them.
We'll make a change.
Roger, could they, if, I'm not saying a trail, but could they ride the snowbanks on South River Road?
Yeah, they did it this winter. There were several snow sleds that ran the banks.
And that's what the
They ran the blue
state
mountain
law
road.
says.
Then
The
should
state
be-
law
maybe
says
that's what we do.
they
is
can
one
ride
and
the
two
snow
and
bank.
So
limit it.
exact law says they are not to be on a public highway. You are to ride the outer bank or inner bank only. When you meet a vehicle, you must stop and allow pedestrians and motorized vehicles to pass. The trouble is, people do things and they don't research what the rules and regulations are. You're not supposed to ride near a dwelling within 100 feet between the hours of midnight and 6 a.m. State law. I had this talk with Debbie and I said, I don't know why you guys don't give courses. And she blamed it on the DEC for not publicizing it more, putting out brochures, but the reality is, ignorance of the law is no excuse. If you're gonna ride a four-wheeler, you're gonna ride a snow sled, you're gonna drive an automobile, you know the laws.
Anything else? So we got some work to do there, okay? Concerning what our whole law says. And we're gonna have to change it. Moving on, all right, we, made an announcement, we wanted quotes, okay? On a video camera surveillance system, and that was sent out. We have, at this point, received 2 quotes. Roger and I reviewed these quotes, and one of the companies that we sent it to called me on Friday and said to me that if you postpone the deadline for these quotes to April, his company would come out next Wednesday and give us a 3rd quote. And Roger and I looked at the first 2 quotes that we had, and we think this is a good idea to table this, extend the deadline to our April meeting so that we can have a 3rd quote. What does the board think?
I'd like to see the quotes at some time, just to see what they're using for hardware, because I know what your network is
Yeah.
now.
I got them in a folder, okay?
Okay.
But, you cannot repeat what you see in those folders if we extend.
Right, I would just add that.
In the quote is good.
All right, I need a motion, okay, to extend the deadline on these video camera surveillance system deadlines to the April meeting. Jim makes the motion, Jill seconds it, all those in favor? Aye. Moving on, water and sewer, all right? So there was a comprehensive inspection by Wade Bastian, who was our DEC representative. So he checked out the sewage treatment plant on March 7th. And I have good news, all right? We had a very good report, okay, on the condition of our sewage treatment plant. And the category, all right, when we had an evaluation done last August, all right, it was actually unsatisfactory, the condition of the sewage treatment plant. The overall comment made that we have a marginal rating of our sewage treatment plant, which is actually as compared to unsatisfactory. The 2 things that the DEC is concerned about in the sewage treatment plant, okay, is the fact, okay, that we have to have another license has to be completed for one of our operators, which is very close to being accomplished. And number 2, they're concerned about the amount of grease, okay, that winds up down in the sewage treatment plant. So those are the two big things that the town of Waverly has to work on in terms, okay, of our sewage treatment plant, based on our last evaluation. Any questions?
Did he recommend any way to track that influent grease?
To track it, okay? Well, there's gonna be two approaches that we're gonna take, okay? One is you start at the end of the sewage lines and you start inspecting manholes and you observe, you look for grease. And that might tell you where the origins of the grease are. There's also, okay, a biological thing that you can buy. And we're gonna have to do some research on this. There's a biological treatment that you can add to your sewage treatment plant that will break the grease down before it's ready to leave. So those are the two approaches that we're gonna take to find a solution. Any other questions? Roger, you're up.
As far as updates go, really don't have a lot. Again, still battling winter. Trying to get the roads cleaned up. We started installing culverts, cleaning ditches, the last week and started this week in between plowing in the morning and digging dirt in the afternoon. We got a couple culvert freeze-ups, got them out, determined that there's actually holes in the pipe and the dirt's actually silting in through the sidewalls of the pipes because they're so old and dilapidated. Things you don't expect to see when a road was paved 3-4 years ago, but it goes back to the infrastructure not being done properly for decades. Not all I've got the roads. We just sent our new truck back to International for some warranty work, developed a fuel leak throughout the winter. So we had it sent back to International, they're gonna look it over and determine what the issue is, and hopefully everything's covered under warranty, the tow call and all. Last fall, our roller, final drive drum, the drive gear, the planetary, broke a gear while we were repairing roads in August after our flood. So we pulled it in the garage, pulled the planetary out of it, and found 2 chipped gears. So we removed the pieces, and the drum and the drive started flowing freely again, so we continued to use it. And then about a month into it, we determined that it was not gonna move anymore because it seized back up and all the gears were destroyed. So I researched all over trying to find, Jimmy knows how old the machine is. It's old. Planetary gears for it, any kind of parts at all, and there's pretty much none available. I looked into a machine shop to have the gears made, but with a machine that old, you put $8,000-10,000 into the planetary in one. Does the next one go bad next year? Again, go through the same effort. So I'd like to purchase a used roller. I've got some quotes, they're in front of you. There's 3 rollers. Tracy Road Equipment's got one. It's a 2015, I believe. Which is a very nice roller. Yeah, 2015 Saki. It's got 3,270 hours on it, but it's $48,800. Jimmy Sheehan has 2 Ingersoll Rams. One's a 2005, one's a 2007. Low hours, between 3,000 and 4,000 on either machine. It's the same price for either machine. I looked at them this winter. I would like to upgrade more than one machine this year, so I'm looking at going with the older models. I did research parts and availability before I went this route. Volvo has actually bought out Ingersoll Ram, so parts are still available for both of those machines. So I would like board approval to purchase one or the other for $22,500. And Jimmy said it didn't matter which one we took, they're both the same price, but I wanna hear them run, see them move, make sure everything works on them, and then one with the lower the hours, we'd like to purchase out. I did look into buying a vibratory roller for the front of our skid steer, but that vibratory roller itself, just for the skid steer, which is not one of these, it's $15,000. So, and that will not do blacktop. It's only for dirt. These will do blacktop and dirt.
Can I get a copy of those documents?
Yes, you can. Any questions? Concerns?
I mean, in the scheme of things, is 20 years old machines, are they too old or?
I got machines, personal machines that are 40, 45 years old. If they're maintained and parts are available for them,
Yes.
newer isn't always better.
No, usually it's
The
not.
electronics go bad in them, and it's costs a lot of money for electronics to get repaired. So,
Yeah, just the big thing would be
as
how
long
long
as
do
we
we
can
get
get
the
parts
parts
for
for
them,
it?
yep. We do have the money.
That was my question.
We do have the money.
It's there.
This is not the only machine I'd like to upgrade this year. I'm actually working on quotes, getting quotes to replace our skid steer. Go from rubber tired to a track machine. When we have a rubber tired skid steer, about the only thing we can do with it is leave it on blacktop or sweep sidewalks. If you go to a track machine, we can use it on the shoulder of the roads. We can use it as a bulldozer, cleaning, rock picking. We do have a stone bucket, but we can't use it on the rubber tired machine because they don't go very well in the dirt. In the future, I'd like to replace that this year. I'd also like to take our old roller and put it up for bid at the auction. It still runs, it just with one drive roll pushing it, it won't climb the hills, it just doesn't have enough power. And I'd like to put a minimum bid of $1,500 on that, if we can get that for scrap price.
I think, Roger, if you know which one is the better of the two, once you test them out, I would say it's cheaper to get this than trying to fix something that doesn't work. You may get a little bit of money from the other one put towards it. It's in the budget.
If you can't get parts, there's no sense of.
Did we make a motion already?
Yes.
All right, well, I make a motion to let Roger pick the best of the two.
And put the other one up for bid.
Yeah, and the old one. So you have two motions here,
Okay.
okay? So one is to purchase, all right, a roller for $22,500. All right, and then you pick which one. So we need a motion there. Joe makes the second, Jill makes the motion, Jim seconds it, all those in favor? The second motion is to put our old roller, okay, for sale, taking bids at a minimum of $1,500. Cindy makes the motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor? Aye.
One more thing, our new hiree in the highway department is coming up on his last week of probationary period. He seems to be working out well. The guys all seem to get along. So we're planning on keeping him around for a while instead of looking for somebody else. That's the plan. That's pretty much all I got. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
What is that guy's name again? What's that guy's name again?
Daniel Farrell.
Daniel.
Carol?
Daryl.
Thank you.
All right, so we're looking at the possible appointment of Jared Brockway as water and wastewater treatment plant operator effective April 9th, 2025. And the reason for April 9th is, all right, he's got to give his current employer 2 weeks' notice. So that's why we're choosing that date. And then if he's appointed tonight, then he starts his clock with his current employer.
And does he have his, all the licensing now that he needs?
He's very close. He has the water license. He's very close, okay, with the wastewater, okay? And I do believe we'll get an extension, okay, from the DEC. All right? He's got one course to complete, and then he has to sign up for the exam, which I believe he's gonna take in April.
What's that?
So we're very close, okay, to bringing that to closure, okay?
And what are we,
All right,
are
so,
we appointing him at a salary?
per union contract, okay? It's per union contract.
And he will fall under the union contract. You'll have 6 month probationary before he bumps up to the full pay.
So if he doesn't
So the
wear-
current rate of pay is $26.05. But when you're in a probationary period, it's 50 cents less than an hour. He's aware of this too. He's been made aware of this. Okay? And as Roger said, it's a 6 month probationary period. And that's,
What will he be doing? He's gonna be doing, obviously.
Water and
the
sewer.
sewer,
Right.
basically 100% of the
He
time,
will be a full-time water and sewer employee.
yes.
He can't be an MEO because he doesn't have a CDL,
I know that.
okay? And with a lot of investigation, a lot of looking, there is a full-time position if you do water and sewer in this town, right? Between groundskeeping, building maintenance, inventory, flushing your hydrants, flushing your manholes, inspecting your shut-offs, you know, between the paperwork.
But that's going to leave you short.
We're still working that out with the MEOs, the union, and myself, trying to figure out the best route to go. I'm looking into not replacing the halftime person, but looking into a per diem. So instead of having a guy there standing around, 3 guys are busy all the time. And when the MEO stepped up and went to one-man plowing per truck, it opened up a whole new field of opportunities. They really stepped up. They've done a wonderful job. So instead of having 4 men sitting there in 2 trucks, we've got 3 trucks, sometimes 4 trucks running all the time for snow plowing. We cover more roads multiple times, especially during snowstorms. So rather than have a halftime guy sitting there wondering what he's gonna do every day, I would rather have him on a call-in basis. Guys have their vacation scheduled. He has to have the right credentials so he can cover the week's vacation, day's vacation. Or if we need extra help, we're working on the shoulders of the roads, replacing roads. We need a flagger, somebody can drive, road repairs. That's something we're looking into.
Could you use Jared if need be, other than for driving?
We could bring him in to flag.
Right,
Yes.
and he understands that.
I don't know if Ernie's explained that to him. We talked it over with the union and the MEOs, but
So when you look at this job description, okay, I asked civil service to add this line. So if there's a need, he can work for the general budget in the town, that I might have things to do, all right? Or Roger needs somebody. So, but basically,
it's gonna be 95% water and sewer.
Oh, but
And I'm
the
glad you
biggest thing
spoke up,
is,
Roger. The list of everything that needs to be done for water and sewer is just pretty endless. It's basically, many parts of the plants, okay, have to be retooled. Just the amount of debris that's left in, there's a canopy down in the sewage treatment plant, and then inside the water plant, just to get rid of that stuff, all right? A lot of it we're gonna put away and sell as scrap steel. So there's a lot of things to put the house in order, in water and sewer. So we're basically moving from a half-time position, okay, to full-time. And then there might be further discussions with the union about what happens here, all right? But they've been showing us. We had a meeting, Roger and I had a meeting with the union, and this was shown to them. And then we talked about the ramifications of now this water and sewer 100% or 95%, 5, whatever you want to call it, okay? But it's somewhere in that area. And then what was going to happen to the highway department. This has all been explained, okay, to the union. And they understand what's going on and they have no objection. So we've dealt with civil service, we've dealt with the union on this. I'm going to briefly go back, okay, to this recent comprehensive inspection that we had, all right, where we got a better rating. So I was down there for the beginning of the inspection, okay, on March 7th. And I said to Wade, when you're done down here, come up and see me, because I wanted his thoughts, okay, and what he came to me and he said, compared to the August 24 inspection to the one he just concluded, he said it was night and day as to what the plant looked like. There was a huge improvement. And of course, all right, Jared's worked very hard, but he's had an excellent tutor in Tony LaRue.
yes, he has.
An excellent tutor. And those guys work hand in hand. So lastly, I have comments from Tony LaRue about Jared. Positive attitude, a hard worker, willing to take direction, and he wants the job and he wants to do the job. Tony recommends that we employ him. And so for everything that we've talked about here, I recommend that he be employed. Any questions? So I would like to approve what's on there. Jared Brockway as water and wastewater treatment plant operator, starting on April 9th. All right, and this would be a 6-month probationary position.
Before that, as long as we either get the extension or he gets his full certificate.
And if that doesn't happen, okay, then, it's gonna be within the probationary period.
Right.
So
That's one of the reasons we're pushing the 6
Right.
months.
he doesn't have the license, okay? So that's our safety valve.
Which I can't imagine him not getting it. with the
He's
time and
so
effort
close
he's put
right
into
now.
it.
I'll make a motion.
Cindy makes the motion. Tim seconds it. All those in favor?
I sustained, because Jerry's my son.
Oh, duh.
I checked with attorneys and they said as long as I let the people of the town know that he is my son, I can vote and the vote will count, but I just assumed. Because there are people in this town that would say
Yeah.
stuff that
Okay, then. Thank you. Thank you.
See y'all, stay in touch.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Appreciate it. Yep.
Bye. Drive safe.
Thank you.
I'll stay on it.
All right, thank you very much. I have a budget amendment, which would be resolution 37. All right, move $14,000 from buildings A16-20.4. And you've got that in my informational material, right, Diane?
I do.
All right, we would move $14,000 from buildings to landfill closings, A8090.4. And the reason, there's a lot of charges from our engineering services, which is in Canton, for their services to get our South River Road mining permit and closing the Dexter Road mine. So there's been a lot of engineering expenses, and I need the money to pay the bills. To move from one line item to another. Any questions?
Did we get the permit then for the mining?
It's in process, right?
Okay, just waiting for the DEC to sign off as far as I know,
Right.
with the EPA. Right. We should have it.
Motion and a second, please. Tim makes the motion, Jim seconds it. All those in favor? Aye. Budget amendment is approved. The, just an addition that came in this afternoon. Our animal control officers are very busy, okay? Talking to people, encouraging them to get their licenses. A lot of people on their own have come to Debbie to get their licenses. And there are certain people who are not complying, and tickets have been written for the town justice to address their delinquencies. And I just received that information today. So we were pretty lax last year, and we're kind of moving forward in this area. To make people accountable with their dog licenses. What did you say?
Said, and I couldn't be happier.
I think it's nice that the town clerk is happy. All right, Don King, you have some things for us?
I'm wearing two hats tonight. This is for the fire department. And we are asking that, oh, I thought I had five. I gave Roger. Go ahead, because you gotta, that's for the 4th of July. It closed off from County Route 5 over to just past the, just before the adult center. So people North River Road can go up the, I don't know what you call that road, but that road that goes up to Spring Street. So we need a resolution passed so that we can do that. You take care of the sawhorses, you know how to do it. I don't remember.
That's what we did with the South River Road last year.
Yes, this is exactly the
Same thing as last year.
Last year.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Right, so, yeah, I believe it was a big improvement.
And we have to have that for the South River Road because there has to be a certain footage closed off for the fireworks.
Right.
And without that, years in past, people would come right up almost right to the, where they're doing the fireworks and park cars right next to it and everything, so.
And the thing,
Now, that's, I think I
the beach
misspoke.
is actually closed because they're setting up the fireworks there.
Yeah, I think I actually misspoke. There's actually two, North River Road and then South River Road. South River Road from the Y to just past the campground, or the picnic area, where you want to call it.
Yeah, where the culvert is.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would vote to it, same as last year, it worked, I thought it worked really well. and it's-
yeah, it did, work outstanding.
I agree. We did this a year ago. In fact, we did it maybe earlier, it might have been January, February when you asked for this. So we did do it. Motion and a second to allow the fire department to do this. Jim makes motion, Tim seconds it, all those in favor? Aye.
Now, the second is for the American Legion. I forgot I got my American Legion hat, I got my fire hat, so. We need the same thing on the 7th of June, but just on North River Road, and I forgot to bring the letter, so I can get that to you.
You didn't forget, I thought it was related.
I was
It's in the
in the
record straight. We'll be there, I guarantee you.
All right, bring it to us next month, okay?
So I just want to can we get it approved today, and, or you need the letter before?
I need something in writing before we agree to it.
Why, you don't trust me?
I'll get it to you tomorrow, you'll need to go around. I mean, it's up to
You
you.
want to table it till next meeting for the?
What do you want to do for it? Okay?
You did
We
it
just-
last-
We, first of all, we
We
gave
just-
them permission last month,
Yeah.
so they could use town property.
Yes,
for their thing.
and we have to close it off too, you
Right.
know. So same thing, that just close off
Same as
South River
last year.
Road to, North River Road to the end of the garage here.
Same as last year, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And it's June 7th, right?
Yes,
All right, so we want to follow up letter, please.
Sure.
Okay?
I
And
will
so,
get you a little about them all.
okay,
I dropped them all off.
we'll be in the office. Okay, so we're allowing the fire department to
American
close.
Legion, this is
American
American Legion.
Legion to close the North River Road, okay, from North Main Street to, okay,
Just,
the
just,
cutoff beyond.
just past the town garage.
Just pass it.
A motion. Jill makes the motion, Cindy seconds, and all those in favor? Aye.
Thank you. For both cases.
Public and board comments.
Good thing I can't vote on that stuff.
One of the, I always call them AEDs, I know what the other initials are, how are we doing on that?
Okay, remember we got word, okay, that the 2021 was
Yep.
passed, okay? So they're still grinding out taxes. As soon as the tax season's over, they'll be working on 2020.
Okay. I would like to set up a time at least to get the list of everything for the ice rink and move that each meeting, make sure we have it all together, and find someone who wants to take that over. Just so it gets next year when we have the ice rink coming up. We would work on it now and make a resolution or something at some point, but kind of discuss it.
And I was actually gonna create a line item in the budget.
Yeah.
for it, okay?
I do have one more thing. We need to look into lawn mowing care.
Yes.
We need to get that going right away.
There, it was appeared in the, we did an ad in the Free Trader last Thursday.
Did you?
Yes. So it's out there.
Oh, yeah, for the,
Yes.
looking for people.
There was an ad in the Free Trader looking for an assessor and looking for quotes to do the lawn making. It was in the Free Trader last Thursday.
So Jim, can you put that on our website too? Can you get the information for that and put it on our website?
Yeah, just send me that, I didn't get it. think
I
it
don't
was
have
posted.
it.
We didn't send it to you.
Okay.
You'll get both of them.
And I can make it where your secretary, I can show her how to do it, but I can make basically a Google document for any employment you guys have, and they say employment, and they click it, and just, you can put them in as you want them.
I think it'd be good to be on the website, yes.
And then the other thing, we're working on the snowmobile, but I'd like to get just a progress report, you know, do we have the roads, where we're at? Just to make sure it keeps moving forward, so that by the next year, by the time it's up, we'll have a map, we'll have the hours, like you were saying at night, I didn't even know that existed from 12 to 6. But have that all, I don't mind running and just contacting everybody, figuring out where we're at. Because we have to figure roads, we have to figure out, you know, is it a trail or is it, like you said, a snowbank? And then put that together and have a map by the time.
If you look in last month's packet.
Yep.
There's actual DEC laws, there's 2 pages.
Okay,
That I handed out. already handed out, so you guys can look it over. But if you go to New York State DEC website, the total package right there, it's about a 80-page book.
Spare time meeting.
What's that, just spare time, it's like the town, little blue book here. No, it'll be good, it'll be good, I'd like to work on it a little bit each time and where we're at, and by the time snowmobile seasons come up, we'll actually have a packet, and we can say, okay, we approve this.
Corey?
For a previous grant request that I had submitted, I did receive a call last Thursday, and they'd asked for further information about the grant request, so I'm working on providing some additional information, so hopefully we'll be granted the grant. So I'll keep you posted. And there's 2 more in the works as well.
Lawrence?
The concession, is it, there's one left that hasn't paid for 24? One person.
And they're
Everybody
23,
else is
24.
everybody else is current
For that year, yes.
for 24.
For 23 to 24.
23, 24, okay?
24, 25, how many? And when it comes 25, if they're still back 23, 24, 25, are you going to accept, how are you going to work it? A few years ago, when I first got on the board, it was 3 to 4 years. It was some back 4 years. We got it up to current. Now it seems to be slipping back again.
8 people.
Well, one person with the 2 lots is gonna take twice as long because they'll get caught up in.
And you
23,
have
24.
the same people.
It's always the
When
same.
when my wife worked here, the same people, they had the same excuse.
The same people every time.
Ask Corey.
Oh, yes.
It's the same one we've been saying forever.
That's not like they don't have the means.
It's the same
In
one
some
we've done.
cases, there's challenges that are. So what's your question again, Lawrence? Okay. We're just, everybody who owes us money, we're after them.
Yeah,
Trish
we
May
were after them in 2016 too. And they were 4 years back. We were after them, but until you put a deadline,
Well, the one for 23, 24 is paying on.
Right.
yeah, that was, I mean, they should have been paid.
They're actually
23,
making,
24.
what he's saying is they're making payments towards it at least. It's not the full amount right now. For the 23, 24,
24, 25.
No, 23, 24.
23, 24, the one person who hasn't paid, they have 2 lots, they're making payments towards that payment now.
They're making the payments for 23, 24.
Yes.
Yes,
So
But they still
now
have to
now we're
pay
in
for it.
24,
Not the full
25,
amount,
pretty
but
soon
they
we're gonna be in
can
the
pay.
25, 26.
Yes.
So that's 2 years back.
has it ever been, Corey, has it ever been 100% where you had a year where everyone paid?
It
The time-
gets very close towards the end.
Close to,
Like
toward the
this time,
end, it gets really close.
April, if you're lucky.
Taxes are back.
Yeah.
And do we know they all have their county taxes paid?
And school.
And that's something that Tricia checks on,
Okay.
okay?
I was gonna say, it was always, you had to present your taxes before you could pay your lease. If your taxes weren't paid,
You
you
can't.
were supposed to be gone. Nobody ever enforced that.
We do. We do enforce it.
Yes. I thought my girl was down at the county to back us up.
There's actually a designated phone number
that you can call in the county, and you give them the tax number of the property, and they will tell you immediately, okay, how much is owed. It's amazing, it's instantaneous.
They're very good down there.
The next question, who is doing the weekend on the sewer and water?
That's gonna have to be taken away from Jared, okay, and Tony's gonna do it, Tony Hoover.
That 4 hours a day, or 2 hours a day, is that it?
Well, we're paying him a state, right now, we're paying Tony, okay? It's 2,000 a month, okay, so he's just gonna do it, okay? When it's his turn to do it, he's just gonna do it.
But he's also there when we call him, when we need him, when we have questions, he comes up and he does help out.
So he's
And
gonna
we
be,
need his
he's gonna
sewer
be doing
license
the
at this point.
weekends?
Well,
Oh. I mean, you
I
had,
think-
you had him penciled in till May,
yes, he's penciled in to May 5th, yes.
well, what about after that?
We'll see. We'll
We
see.
may be looking for
And
another
Tony's gonna,
part-time
we're gonna have to
employee,
hire Tony. We'll have to extend Tony.
or we start looking for a part-time employee if Jared's got his license.
That will have to happen too.
Yes, it will. Before Tony can go away, hopefully.
Yes, we have to have a
Jared
second
has to
person.
have his license, wastewater treatment license, before Tony can go away. That's one of the reasons we're paying him right now, so we comply with the state.
So you've just doubled the sewer and the water budget. I mean,
The rates, the rate,
for labor.
for usage.
So, did you calculate what that's gonna do to the sewer rates and water rates for next year?
Right now, given the increase we passed, okay, for this year, okay, we've got salaries and fringe benefits covered
And the part-timer.
in the plan.
So you built into this year's budget for a full-time employee? Well, how can you have it already covered then? If you didn't build in for a full-time employee. You had a 20-hour-a-week employee, that's what you budgeted for sewer and water for 2025. And now you're going to a 100%.
I
So I
thought,
can't see how you, if, unless you budgeted for 100%.
I had money, okay, I put more money into administration line items, all right? That's covering Tony LaRue and what we're paying him. And then there was more money, okay, because we raised the rates, okay, in water and sewer for this year. So I spread out more money for contractual services, more money for machinery, and more money, okay, for salaries and fringe benefits.
So you put in about another 25,000 into you built 25,000 into sewer and water extra for wages?
And I'm gonna tell you what I did, because remember that overseer's pay was taken away? So I put, in case something went wrong and we had to restore that, I had a pile set aside in there. And it doesn't look like we're gonna be using it, because it's gonna be reinstated, it's not gonna be reinstated. So I had a safety valve built in from the beginning.
Okay. The next question is for Roger. We have 40 miles of highway in the town of Waverly. Dickinson has 70. Dickinson has 3 employees. We now have 3 in the highway.
We actually
What-
have 49 lane miles and Dickinson has 49.8 lane miles. We're within 1 to 2 miles of each other between Dickinson and Waverly, our lane miles. I just got done doing highway inventory.
With, because it was always said before,
They go, we got
40,
80, we got 40. They consider their lane miles as 1 instead of, right. Yeah. Your lane miles are always double. So we have 48 lane miles.
so they were figuring on, when they said they had 70, they only had
30, yeah, 35, 36 lane miles.
lane miles.
Josh used to say we said just under 100.
So you don't feel 3 highway employees is enough?
So Dickinson has 3 full-time highway employees and a mandated working highway superintendent. Their board made a resolution. Eric gets the same pay, the same benefits, but no overtime. Their highway superintendent is mandatory to work. So they've actually got 4 guys. The only stipulation is Eric, as the town highway superintendent, cannot take an MEO's job from him. He can help, he can work with them, but they all have to work before he can step up and take a machine or a truck, or they refuse work.
I was always told the only way that the town board could tell, the town board cannot tell you to work.
Nope,
And
you
they
have to
can't,
agree to it. You have to agree to it.
under the state law, I think it's in that book. I don't know if the town can, it's one it'll tell you in there, one elected official cannot tell another elected official.
No,
what
but
to
you
do.
can make an agreement. You can't mandate. They can't force me to do anything. If I agree to it, we come to, it's no different than any other negotiations or your union contracts. You sit down, you converse, you come up with an agreement, and everybody's satisfied, so that's the way it moves forward. And that's what they did in Dickinson. The union agreed with it, the town agreed with it, the supervisor agreed with it. So that's how it's a mutual working situation down there.
So you feel an additional 50% employees is necessary down Waverly?
What I'll say, no, I don't. Not a full-time,
No,
That's-
50%.
that's what I say, not somebody there 30 hours a week or 20.
50%.
What I'm looking at is a fill-in, a per diem guy. So if we need somebody, we pick up the phone, we call them, extra set of hands. I'm not gonna be here forever. We all work together right now. The next highway superintendent may come in the morning and leave. Now you're shorthanded. You have nobody flagging, you have nobody running for stuff. That's where hey, we need the extra guy today. And I don't want to shortfall the budget for the future if that's required. That's why we're looking into a per diem right now.
Do you think that's possible to come up with an on-call person?
I do believe there's people out there. We may have to look, we may have to go through a few, but I do believe there's some guys that are retired that would be willing to be on call-in. They don't want to work every day, but they're willing to fill in as needed. Get away from the house, no offense, get away from the wife get away from the husband, doesn't matter if it's man or woman. If you need somebody, I think anything's possible. Given enough time, given the right situation, anything is possible. I'm a firm believer in that. You just have to be willing to put the effort in, do the research, and find the solution.
That's all I got, thank you.
Anybody else? Then I guess we need a motion to adjourn. Joe makes the motion, Jim seconds it, all those in favor? Aye.
Okay. You gonna bring it down? You gonna bring it down?
Yeah.
We're here to do it.
Man. Is Earl going to copy?
What's that?
Earl, you gonna go and copy?
Well, he didn't this morning because he's up there. He's up there, no sugar up there. Yeah. Yeah, he's normally there, but I know he's sugar. I went up with him the other day.
Shot the coffee first?
Sorry. Yeah, I got him over it. Hold on.
Oh, you got it? It's out.
Anything to say? Well, give that snow to walk with.